welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, January 3rd, 2017. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday is calling for a quick resolution to the ongoing Canouan Beach issue between developers and residents. This comes as activist and president of the Canouan Island Development Council, the CIDC, Terry Bono, was arrested last Saturday for obstruction. He was released hours later without any charge. Dr. Friday told SVG-TV News that after several meetings with residents and investors, he tried to mediate and quell the situation. He said one of the outcomes would be a town hall meeting to be held this evening.
It's always a difficult situation when you can't resolve these matters without there being resort to the use of whether it's the force or police or anybody of that sort. But I am trying to, because nobody wants to have confrontation, nobody wants to have this matter continue. What we want to do is to have the resort operating the way it's supposed to, and the jobs and the investment opportunities that will come with spin-offs and so on, we want to have those realized. Whatever I can do to promote that, I'll be willing to do so.
Dr. Friday purported that the ruling Unity Labour Party, the ULP administration, needs to be more vocal and address the concerns of all parties before the situation escalates further.
Mystifying to me, because it's a matter of national concern. If you have a major developer that has a problem, then that is something that the government should become involved in finding a resolution. I am a member of Parliament. I'm a representative. I'm the leader of the opposition. Terence Olivier is a member of the opposition. We can listen. We can make suggestions. We can hear people's concerns, because that is what we are required to do as representatives of the people, and to put their views forward when they are not able to do for themselves, or in areas, in arenas where they may not have a voice. So that is what we're doing. But with the government seems to be very quiet on it.
And President of the Canouan Island Development Council, the CIDC, Terry Bono, is also calling for the government's intervention to ensure that the beach access issue does not spiral out of control. Bono was reportedly denied access to the Maho Beach on Canouan by security at a nearby resort and was later arrested by the police for obstruction. He told SVG-TV News today that he has been making several attempts to speak to the Prime Minister on Friday, who was visiting the five-star resort with family members. According to Bono, when the Prime Minister and his entourage were leaving the compound, some protesters followed them to the airport, and that he was disappointed that no attempts were made to address the matter.
Officer was called in. He came up to the resort, told me to move my vehicle. I said, no, I am proceeding to the beach. He arrested me, said I was blocking the road, a disorderly conduct, and threw the handcuff on while I was on the radio. And there's where he used obscene language on the radio, trying to take away my phone and take me to the police station. Number of Canouan persons came out to the police station concerned about me being there, and never left until I was released. I was released without charge. And Sunday morning, I proceed to Goodall Beach by walking down the cliff to protest what was happening. Access is being given by somebody and then take away when they want.
Bono said that he will not be intimidated and will fight to death for free access to the beaches on his home soil.
My friend, I am not scared. And I always say when I speak that die now, die later is still dead. You know, I am not going to allow my children to fight this problem. I would not sit back if God gave me some sunset years to hear that my children approach this situation differently, while I'm home in my rocking chair to hear that my son or daughter get killed trying to attempt to go to the beach by securities up in the resort. I will grieve to death. So might as well I die for this noble cause so that my children could live better.
Meanwhile, Director of Grenadines Affairs Edwin Snag is calling for more reasoning and maturity in dealing with the Canouan Beach access issue. Snag said that the issue has been ongoing for over 20 years, and his administration has been doing its best in the 16 years that they have been in office to address the matter.
Calls for a certain amount of level-headedness and for a certain amount of reason, and I think, well, we have had some discussions with the investor on this particular matter. Of course, the Prime Minister has been involved in this because he is actually the Minister of Grenadines Affairs. And I think that, we need to set our parameters right in terms of what do we really want. Mr. Bono has his position, and of course the investor also have their position. The reality about it is that all beaches in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are public, and this we know. There is, from my understanding, a particular process in terms of persons going to the beach, and I think it's a question of reason on both.
The Director of Grenadines Affairs said if the matter is not addressed properly, it could hurt the country's tourism investment climate.
The livelihood of certain persons are involved, and I know that there are some who would want to take this and make this, of course, a political issue, and there are those who are going to jump on this because it's a very saucy subject. But we have to look at it in a balanced form in terms of what is good overall, both for the country and also with relation to, of course, an investment in terms of looking for foreign investments, all the implications that are involved. So this calls for, as I say, a mature approach, and I think, however, that the government has done its part in terms of trying to, bring a certain amount of reason to it.
A total ban on the killing of sea turtles and the destruction of their eggs took effect on Sunday, January 1st, 2017. According to the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries and Rural Transformation, the decision to impose a total ban on all sea turtles came in late 2016 in response to the increased global threat to sea turtles and to their status as vulnerable, endangered and critically endangered. The initiative is also aimed at protecting all sea turtles under the theme No Extinction in My Generation. The ministry said there will be increased vigilance to ensure that all persons abide by the law and end the killing of sea turtles, the harvesting of their eggs and the sale of their shells, or as shell jewelry. The ministry is expected to work together with the National Parks, Rivers and Beaches Authority to pursue a national sea turtle conservation program to make turtle watching a viable ecotourism opportunity in rural coastal communities. The windward communities of Connery, Byra and Sandy Bay Big Sand have been identified for 2 turtle watching projects. The Eastern Division of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force is continuing with its efforts to combat the threat of predial larceny, which continues to plague farmers from Lomans to Fancy. Assistant Superintendent of Police in charge of the Eastern Division, Joel James, spoke with SVG-TV News earlier today on the measures the division implemented in 2016 to combat predial larceny, as well as new measures the department seeks to implement for 2017. James said there has been 105 reported incidents of theft of livestock and produce, and the division has been working hard to create a comfortable and secure environment for farmers, as well as create discomfort for persons who commit predial larceny.
We are picking them up so that they would know that the police in Georgetown, the police in Connery, the police in Owea, the police in Sandy Bay are on their back. And for 2016 overall, we would have had 105 thefts of livestock. We would have had 87 reported theft of produce. And for 2017, we are working tirelessly to make sure that the farmers in the Eastern Division are comfortable, and we can assure them that we are going to do everything in our powers to make sure that their livestock will remain with them and not in the hands of the perpetrator.
ASP James added that consultation with farmers has been a strategy used by the members of the Eastern Division in the past with some success, and said that this year he would be taking what he calls a bold step to engage in talks with alleged perpetrators of predial larceny.
And I believe if I have a meeting with the perpetrators or suspected perpetrators of these crimes and let them know, have a conversation with them, let them know what they are doing to these farmers, let them know they are depriving the farmers of their produce, depriving them of their animals. You know, there are some farmers who live directly from farming. Some persons would have cultivated their lands mainly to send their children to school and so forth. And then when you, for example, if you plant a field of edos, when you go the next morning when they're matured, all is gone. You know how that feels. Okay? So this is the route I intend to take as it relates to these crimes in the Eastern Division.
James noted that whilst the RSVG police force is doing its part to reduce such crime, he called on the general public, particularly butchers, owners of cook shops and restaurants, to ensure that they purchase animals, meat products and agricultural produce from persons with a farmer's identification card.
What we have been doing also to combat these activities, we have been doing some stop and searches and so forth on vehicles, people's homes and so forth who are suspect of perpetrating these crimes. And we are asking persons, we are appealing to persons who are operating restaurants and cook shops. Please do not purchase animals or meat from persons who do not have the requisite documentation, as I explained earlier. You must have farmer's ID, and you must be given a receipt to show that you are the owner of these livestock and ground provision.
Former governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Sir White Venna, who passed away on Thursday, December 22, 2016, will be laid to rest tomorrow, Wednesday, January 4th, at the Minor Basilica of the Immaculate Conception in Castries, St. Lucia. As part of honoring Sir Dwight, who served in the capacity of ECCB governor for some 26 years, all flags at the bank's headquarters are being flown at half-mast, and the fountain at the institution will remain still until sundown Wednesday evening. Book of condolences are available at all 7 ECCB agency offices, as the public is invited to convey their condolences until January 31st. Tomorrow's funeral service is expected to be streamed live to allow public participation, with a memorial service being planned for a later date in this month in commemoration of the life and accomplishments of the late Sir Dwight Venna. Here's a look back at part of an interview done with him in May 2013, where he spoke of the stability of the Eastern Caribbean dollar, with emphasis on the ECCB's strong dollar policy.
He says, very small economies, very vulnerable, okay? If there wasn't one certainty, okay, then the level of economic uncertainty that exists, you see, would be too much for the system. Strong dollar policy. And that's very important in this part of the world, because when you're going to change a parity or the value of a currency, it is either unintentional or deliberate. Okay? So the question would be, what are the circumstances now, okay, which would lead us to do that in an unintentional way?
When the ECCB celebrated its 27th anniversary in 2010, Sir Dwight Venna took the time out to outline some of the bank's major accomplishments.
1974, when Grenada got its independence, to 1983, when St. Kitts and Nevis got its independence. You know, we've been trying to forge what is, in essence, a collection of Eastern Caribbean states. We've surprised a lot of people by just being here, okay? But now there are tremendous opportunities, given the steps we've taken to respond to the crisis, to move to another level, which is what the economic union gives us. The major achievement of the bank really is keeping the currency stable. I mean, that is the anchor on which our economic development, our stability is based. And so over the last 27 years, and before that, the other authority, the ECCA, we've managed to keep the currency stable, which I think is a tremendous achievement, because I think there are very few, if any, countries which have maintained an exchange rate peg for so long.
The Traffic Department of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force continues to express concern over the high incidences of vehicular accidents occurring on the nation's roads. This comes on the heels of a fatal accident which occurred on the 31st of December 2016 in the Chateaubelair area, which claimed the life of Bonixie Hamilton of Chumuka. Station Sergeant Junior Nero of the RSVG Police Force Traffic Department gave a report on the incident and extending condolences to the family of Hamilton.
One passenger, Carlos Harry, 21 years, student of Chumuka, was seriously injured and is still a patient at the Milton Tikato Memorial Hospital. Bonixie Hamilton died on the scene, and with that road fatality would have carry our accident road fatality for 2016 to 7. From the traffic department standpoint, we want to let the parents know that on behalf of the traffic department, we send our condolences to the family of the Hamilton family who would have lost that youngster at such a young age.
Nero also expressed concern over the high number of vehicular accidents here and said it is his hope that the passing of an important legislation this year would allow the traffic department to use technology to boost their capacity to deal with reckless drivers.
I've seen an increase, and this is due to the fact that there are more vehicles on our roads. On our road networking still remain the same. What the traffic department is employing on road users to do is to use the road wisely and be careful when you're traveling on our roads. Now, for 2017, the traffic department is hopeful that the breathalyzer, which is mentioned, that persons would be able to, the police would be able to effectively carry out the mandate which is given to them. We are presently waiting on legislation, and hopefully for the year 2017, that is our target. Hope that once that is passed, the police would be enforcing that piece of act.
Meanwhile, a report reaching SVG News this evening is that a motor vehicle P5530 overturned in the Argyle area. There has been no report of injury. A 3-day workshop under the Promoting Access to Clean Energy Services in St. Vincent and the Grenadines project will commence here tomorrow. The workshop targeting primary school teachers will take place at the Foreign Affairs Conference Room. Topics to be discussed include solar thermal energy, solar water heating, building a solar cooker, building of solar car and wind energy, among other areas. This comes as this country moves towards energy efficiency and conservation through a geothermal plant at the La Soufrière volcano. The Prizegiving Ceremony for the 2016 Nine Mornings Festival is scheduled to take place this Saturday, the 7th January 2017 from 9:30 a.m. at the Peace Memorial Hall. At the ceremony, prizes will be distributed to the various winners in the Vinlek Community Lighting Competition. These results, which were announced on Christmas Eve morning, show Point Village as the national lighting champion for a 4th year in a row, Olivier de Silva with the best lit private house, and the Roseau Recreational Park as the best lit garden and best nativity scene. At Saturday's ceremony, there will also be the much anticipated announcements of results in the following categories: Best Community on Parade, Best Community Song, Best Nine Mornings Community, Best Christmas Community, and Most Popular Local Christmas Song. Addresses will come from Minister of Culture Cecil Mackey and representatives of the major sponsors, the National Lotteries Authority and Vinlek. The SVG 9 Mornings Committee has described the 2016 festivities as successful despite the many challenges, with good public support at programs around the country. 9 Mornings in St. Vincent and the Grenadines was celebrated from December 16 to the 24th under the theme Celebrating a Unique Vincentian Tradition 2016, the Best Ever.